Hey, thanks for Click and Play. I just want to share 3 tips with you. Very simple, general tips that you may know already if you've been selling on Amazon for a while. These are 3 things that I wish I would have known a little more of when I first started out. So these 3 tips are really geared toward if you're a newer seller. Very simple tips. First one is this. If you were just getting into the game selling on Amazon, one of the things you really need to know is you need working capital to purchase inventory. I see a lot of sellers and I get a lot of questions from newer sellers who ask me, is it okay to use credit cards? How much money do they need up front? And it really depends on how quickly you want to grow your business or how big you want to grow your business. However, one of the fundamental things that you got to know going into it is you should have some working capital that you do not need to use for your general living expenses. And so that's always my counsel. I suggest you have at least $3,000 or $4,000 that you're not going to need for 3 or 4 months. If you're a newer seller, just know that you should have some savings or you should have a pretty good chunk of cash that you're going to need. Number one, just to invest in the different equipment that you'll use, your $40 a month Amazon fee, but then ultimately what you're going to need to use to purchase inventory. So make sure if you're just getting started out that you have working capital to play with. Second one kind of goes along with that. I always counsel newer sellers, if you're just getting started out, start by thrifting. Go to thrift stores. You're going to find items where it's just 1 item or 2 items, but generally the margins on those items are going to be a lot greater. But what this does is it teaches you how to analyze buys. And so again, I see a lot of newer sellers who begin and they want to buy a lot of stuff online, which sometimes can be a little tricky. If you're buying Amazon to Amazon flips, or if you're buying 20 of an item that you don't realize, there may be a lot of other sellers that are purchasing that item too, which may mean you may have to hold on to that item for 3 months. And so when you're just getting into being a seller on Amazon, I just always think the best way to learn when you're just getting started is going to thrift stores and just figuring out and analyzing buys. It's going to not use up so much capital. It is going to use a lot more of your time. But again, I think that's a great learning experience. So the first one is make sure you have capital. The second one I suggest if you're just starting out is learn how to buy at thrift stores where you're not spending a lot of money. And then the third one is this, what you're doing right now. Network with other sellers. One of the greatest tools that I've been able to use to grow my business has been the relationships that I've been able to build with other sellers in Facebook groups just like this one. And so by far, the greatest learning that has taken place for myself and my business, I've done in these Facebook groups. The best relationships that I have with other sellers, with partners that I have, I've been able to cultivate those basically by beginning, PMing them on Facebook. And so Facebook and especially the FBA groups are just a tremendous, viable resource. Make sure you're taking advantage of them. 3 quick tips. Hopefully that helps. Thanks for Click and Play. Thanks for hanging out with us here in OSA. So on behalf of myself and the 4 baddest bearded Amazon sellers I know, have a great Sunday.